All rise for the jury, please.
Didn't know if you asked me. I'm trying to take care of this. So
Okay.
I'll
Well,
line them up.
yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
All four.
Tell her.
All rise for the jury. Yep, there we go. Thank you. You may all be seated. Court will recall 20 CR 1358, People versus Letecia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury has returned to the courtroom. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we're going to start the day with a question. Has anything occurred since we were last together that causes any of you to believe you could not continue to act as a fair and impartial juror in this case? If so, please raise your hand. No response. Okay. You might notice that we have one juror less today than we did last Friday. You shouldn't draw any conclusions or anything from that. That juror was no longer able to serve in this case. So it does bring up something I want to talk to you about a little bit. And that is you guys can rearrange. I know that I always feel bad for the people that are sitting down there in the pit. So if you want to, you guys can stay in the same seats that you're in if you want to do that. That's fine. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. The other thing that you can do if you want to talk about it, you could all move down. That would put you up on the same level with everybody else. And our juror number 20 could move back into that back seat. You would be higher up. It's also up to you. I give you that option. If you want to stay the way that you are, that's okay too. But this way we have a little bit more room to play with. So I'll just leave it at that. When we took our break on Friday, we were in the midst of Ms. Bell's testimony. That's where we will resume today with that. Mr. Young?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Bell.
Good morning.
There's a couple questions that I forgot to ask you on Friday, okay? So I want to cover those with you this morning. Is that all right?
Yes.
Back on both searches on January 29th, 2020, as well as February 21st, 2020, did you locate any shell casings in the residence?
No cartridge cases were located during any of my searches.
If you would have found expended cartridge cases, would you have collected those?
Yes, they would have been collected and placed into evidence.
During the course of the February 21st, 2020 search, did you also collect several prescription medication bottles?
I did. I believe it was 5 prescription bottles.
And do you know those? Do you have your report with you?
I do, if I may refer to it.
I figured you might, since you probably didn't know I was going to ask you these questions. And it's bait page 0398. It's 2 of 6 of your February 21st report.
Correct. Yes, I do have that.
What items did you actually collect and submit into evidence?
I will do my best to say these names and not butcher them. But I collected a prescription bottle of Perrigo, I believe is how you pronounce this, that was prescribed to Letecia Stauch. I collected a prescription bottle of colchicine that was prescribed to Eugene Stauch. I collected a prescription bottle of lisdexamfetamine that was prescribed to Gannon Stauch. I collected a prescription bottle of amoxicillin prescribed to Harley Hunt, and a prescription bottle of doxycycline, which was indicated it was for a canine.
And did you collect and submit into evidence every prescription bottle you found in the entire residence?
The ones I collected on that day, I don't know that every single prescription bottle was collected and submitted into evidence.
Did you see a prescription for hydrocodone while you were doing this search on February 21st, 2020?
I don't recall offhand without reviewing photographs.
If you would have saw a prescription of that, would you have collected it?
I believe I would have, since the other prescriptions were collected.
Those are my questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Cross-examination.
Bell, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. So refresh me again, how many searches did you do of residents?
Myself personally,
Yes.
I was involved in 3 of them.
And the first, what was the date of the first one?
First one was January 29th.
And to your knowledge, was the resident secure between the time that Gannon went missing and when you did your search?
Secured in what
I mean,
time?
were other members of the family there? Were people coming in and out?
When I arrived on that day, I know at some point that Eugene Stauch returned back to the residence and remained on the upper level while I was working in the basement. And then throughout the other ones, I couldn't say for sure. It's my understanding that they were in and out of the residence.
And so before you got there on the 28th or on the 29th, how many people were in and out of the residence, like say the day prior? Do you have any knowledge of that?
Of family or
Family.
of law enforcement?
A family, non-law enforcement.
I was made aware that Gannon's biological mother had been in the house the day prior, at least, or the evening prior. And beyond that, I don't know which family members had been in and out of the residence.
Or their friends showing up to offer aid or anything like that, you're unaware?
That I'm not aware of. I wasn't at the door to see who came to the door.
Okay. And in regards to the carpeting, you had indicated that you've done some kind of testing with the fire department and with fire resistant material being put in the carpet?
Yes, so that was experimentation that was done several years ago, so not on specific carpet from this
Okay.
residence.
And that's what my next question. Do you know, was any of this carpet tested to see if it actually is fire resistant?
I'm unaware if any additional testing was done on this carpet.
Okay. Or any testing to see how long you'd have to put a flame to cause the type of fire damage that we saw? That wasn't
Correct.
done?
I didn't do any of that on this carpet, and I don't know that it was done.
Okay. Thank you. Redirect.
Oh, thank you.
Do any of the jurors have any questions for Ms. Bell? No? All right. Thank you, ma'am. You may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Prosecution, call your next witness, please.
The people would call Harley Hunt to the stand.
Ms. Hunt, if you would step forward and raise your right. Oh, where is she? I just saw someone coming through the door.
Check. I was told to be right out here.
All right, Ms. Hunt, if you would step forward and raise your right hand, please, ma'am. A little farther forward. It's okay. It's all right. You swear from the testimony about to give in this man will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Go ahead and have a seat in the witness stand. Please watch your step as you step into the stand.
Good morning, Ms. Hunt.
Good morning.
Could you please introduce yourself to the jury and spell your last name for the record?
Harley Hunt, Hunt.
Very difficult for you right now. We're going to get through this, okay? I'm going to ask you some questions and we're going to have a conversation.
Okay.
And I want you to do the best you can, all right? Everything we say is being recorded, so if you can, speak as loud as possible. You can also pull that microphone closer to you if you like. Okay?
Okay.
How old are you, Harley?
I'm 20.
And who's your mom?
Letecia Stauch.
Is it the same Letecia Stauch who's seated to my left here in the middle of these two gentlemen?
Yes.
May the record reflect identification of the defendant subject to cross-examination.
The record will still reflect. Go ahead.
Have you lived with your mom your entire life?
Yes.
When was the last time you saw her in person?
The day that she was arrested.
Would that have been March 2nd, 2020?
Yes.
And was that in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina?
Yes.
Do you live out in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina now?
I do.
What do you do out there?
I go to college.
What are you studying?
Nursing.
How much longer do you have for that?
A year and a half.
Pretty excited about that?
Yeah.
Good. Things going well in school?
So far, yes.
Okay. I want to talk to you a little bit about your family. Back in 2015, 2014 timeframe, did your mother marry someone named Albert Stauch?
Yes.
And did Albert have kids of his own?
Yes.
What's his kids' names? Do you remember?
Lena and Gannon.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I show you what's been introduced in evidence as People's Exhibit 1. Recognize that person?
Yes.
Is that Gannon Stauch?
Yes.
And Lena Stauch is his younger sister?
Yes.
What was your relationship with Gannon Stauch?
We had a good relationship. Of course, we had like an age difference. But I would always try to be there for them when I could.
Do you remember how old you were when Albert and your mom got married?
I think I was 12 or so.
How old was Gannon when that happened? Do you remember?
He was really young, 4 or 5,
And Lena was even younger than that, I would imagine. You remember how old Lena was?
like 2 maybe or so.
And so did you also have a relationship with Lena?
Yes, I did.
Was she like a sister to you?
Yes.
And was Gannon like a brother to you?
Yes.
Although there's an age difference, especially probably when you got into your teenage years, right?
Correct.
I would imagine they may have been a little annoying for you a little bit.
Yes.
Is that fair to say? Okay. What about your mom's relationship with Gannon over the years? Can you start out perhaps when Albert and your mom got married? How was that relationship between Gannon and your mom?
Yeah, so it was different at first because we were like a blended family. So we were just getting used to, more people in our life. They had an okay relationship. There were problems here and there, but
Was there a point in time when Albert and your mom first got married where Albert didn't have custody of the kids?
yes.
And were things a little easier when the kids weren't around?
I wouldn't say easier. Having to go back and forth between, the weekends and everything with them were difficult because, Albert, of course, wanted his kids full time with him. So I just remember there being like a lot of problems with that. But
At some point, did Albert get custody of both Lena and Gannon?
yes,
And were they living with you all more of a full-time basis?
yes,
And did you observe the relationship between everyone at that time?
yes,
Did it seem to be, for lack of a better term, a normal family situation?
yes.
What about your relationship with Albert? How'd that go?
We had a good relationship. When Albert first came in, it's when my dad passed away. So, that was difficult for me at first because I didn't want like my father to feel replaced. That's how I felt like in my heart. But as time grew, we got closer.
What was your father's name?
Chance.
Hunt?
Yes.
Do you remember when he died?
Yes. When I was 12 in October.
So would that have been October 2000? Help me out with the math here.
12 or 14.
Sometime in that time frame?
Yeah.
When your father passed away, were Albert and your mom married?
Yes.
Do you know how your dad passed away?
Yes.
How did he die?
An overdose.
And when did you first learn that?
This past week.
What were you told how he died before?
That someone came in and robbed him and killed him.
And who told you that?
My mom.
Had she ever told you the truth as to how your dad died?
No.
How'd you learn about that then?
The internet.
This case has got an enormous amount of attention on social media and the internet. Is that right?
Yes.
And you have actually gotten a lot of attention on the internet because of this case. Is that right?
Yes.
Very difficult you being here right now, testifying in this court.
Yes.
Is Albert Stauch, do you see him in the courtroom?
I do.
Seated in the front row in the gallery here.
Yes.
When Albert and your mom got married, where were you living?
Myrtle Beach.
And how long had you lived there before you moved to another place? Do you remember?
I do not remember the exact time. No.
In the beginning of Albert's and your mom's marriage, was Albert Stauch going to training a lot, and was he away from the house quite a bit because of his job?
Yes.
And were there often times where it'd be just you and your mom in the house while Albert was out training?
Yes.
Were there other times where it'd be you, your mom, and Lena and Gannon?
Only when he was like at work for training. Yeah.
How did your mom feel about, or do you know, did your mom ever talk to you about how she felt about Albert being gone all the time and being at training?
Yes. She wanted him to be home more, especially when we had the kids with us.
And did she tell you whether or not she liked being at home alone with the kids?
She did not know.
At some point, did you move to Charleston, South Carolina?
Yes, we did.
Why did you move to Charleston, South Carolina?
For their job purposes.
Whose jobs?
Both my mom and Albert. My mom wanted to teach at a new school, and Albert was able to find like a job position there too.
And did your mom tell you why she wanted to teach at a new school?
Just to get away from Myrtle Beach.
Did your mom want to move frequently?
Yes.
Was that pretty constant throughout your relationship with her?
Yes.
And so how long did you live in Charleston?
Not long, maybe a year, if that.
And where did you go from Charleston?
Back to Myrtle Beach.
And why did you go back to Myrtle Beach?
Because my mom didn't like being in Charleston.
And did she tell you that?
Yes.
And so were you having to switch schools from Myrtle Beach to Charleston and then back to Myrtle Beach?
Yes, so I actually went back to school as well when we stayed in Charleston too.
And did you end up graduating from high school early?
I did, yes.
Tell the jury about that. How'd that happen?
I eventually, when we moved to Alaska, I did online school. So I did 2 years of that. So I ended up doing 3 years of high school.
So you graduated essentially from being in Alaska doing online studies?
Yes.
And we're going to get there in a minute, okay? Do you remember how long you lived in Myrtle Beach the second time?
No.
Do you know whether or not your mom and Al Stauch actually bought a house in Myrtle Beach?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
Once we moved back, they bought a house there that we had over a course of time, also when we lived in Alaska.
And was that the first home that was purchased between Al and your mom?
Yes, that was purchased.
And at some point, did Albert Stauch get orders to go to Alaska?
Yes.
Were you in the home at that time,
Yes.
the home that you purchased?
Yes.
Tell us, the jury, about that. What were the circumstances? What was the plan for you and your mother and the kids when Albert was sent to Alaska to be stationed there?
Yeah, so he was stationed there, and we still had our house in Myrtle Beach, and we would go back and forth from being in Alaska and Myrtle Beach.
And when you say we, who are we talking about?
Me and my mom.
Do you know where the kids were at this point in time?
Sometimes they would be with us in Alaska, and sometimes they would be back in Myrtle Beach with their mom.
And did you know their mother, Landon?
Yes.
Had you met her on occasion?
Yes.
And you see her in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Sitting in the second row back here?
Yes.
Was this in the time frame around 2017, 2018 when Albert was stationed in Alaska?
Yes.
And you said that you would go to Alaska on occasion and go back to Myrtle Beach. And you indicated it was you and your mom, right?
Correct.
How often would you guys go to Alaska?
We would stay in Alaska for like a month or so, and then we fly back to Myrtle Beach for a couple weeks and then fly back to Alaska.
Did you fully ever move to Alaska with your mother?
No.
And why is that?
Because we still had our house in Myrtle Beach, so we would go back and forth.
Did your mom ever talk to you about moving to Alaska?
What do you mean?
Well, did she ever tell you whether or not she liked being in Alaska?
Oh, she did not like being in Alaska, no.
And what did she tell you about that?
Because it was cold and she couldn't work there, and there was nothing to do.
At some point, were you up in Alaska with your mom and discussions were talked about moving to Colorado.
Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
I remember after like 3 or 4 years or so, Albert found out that he could move to Colorado and be stationed there. And we all were excited because it was better than being in Alaska.
Do you know whose idea that was?
My mom's.
And why do you say that?
Because there was an incident that happened in Alaska. I wasn't told much, but
Something that didn't want her or Albert to be in Alaska anymore?
Mhm.
You have to say yes or no. I'm sorry.
yes, sorry.
Okay, it's all right. And so, talk about the move to Colorado. When this decision was made to go to Colorado, did you still have this house in Myrtle Beach?
We did at first, and then they sold the house. After it was sold, we drove everything to Colorado.
Did you have to fly back to Myrtle Beach and then drive across the country to Colorado?
Yes,
And was it Colorado Springs where you were going to?
yes.
What was Albert doing as all this was happening? Do you know?
I don't remember.
Was he still in Alaska?
I don't remember. I don't know.
That's fine. Do you remember moving into the house 6627 Mandan Drive here in Colorado Springs?
Yes.
When you moved in, was Albert with you initially?
No.
So tell the jury about that. When did Albert come to Colorado Springs to live with you and your mother?
So when we got to Colorado after driving there, the kids came at some point, and then a couple weeks later, Albert came.
And would this have been early 2019
Yes.
timeframe? Now, how long did you live in that house before Gannon's death? Do you remember?
A year. We moved in January of 2019.
Was this year timeframe the first time that all of you were together during Albert and your mom's marriage?
Yes.
And first extended time for a year?
Yes.
Had you had an opportunity to see Albert and your mom together on numerous occasions?
Yes.
What was their relationship like? And I'm talking about when you're in Colorado, 2019 on.
It started to feel like we were a family again because everybody was there and like we were together.
Did they ever argue?
Yes.
How often would they argue?
Often
And how do you know they were arguing?
because you could hear them arguing.
And what would you do when that would happen?
Gannon or Lena would come ask me why they were arguing. So like they would just come in my room and I would turn the TV up or something. But I didn't want them to have to listen to them argue.
Did you ever get pulled into these arguments?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
They would be arguing about something and then it would be like, well, isn't this true? Or like ask my opinion. Try to get my say-so on it.
And who would ask you your opinion to get your say-so?
My mom.
Did you ever ask your mom, say, why do you pull me into these arguments to get my opinion?
Yeah, I just said like, I don't want to be a part of this.
And what did she say in response to that?
Would just keep asking and then they would keep arguing.
I want to go forward to January of 2020 now, right? Well, let me go back to Christmas of 2019. Did Gannon and Lena, were they with their mom during the holiday period?
Yes, I believe we celebrated Christmas early with them.
Did they go back to South Carolina to be with their mom over the holidays?
Yes.
Did they eventually come back?
Yes.
And would that have been now January 2020 when they came back to the house?
Yes.
Now, was your mom working here in Colorado?
Yes.
Where was she working?
At a school.
Do you remember what school?
I don't remember the name of it, no.
Branch Elementary sound familiar?
Yes.
Was that the school she was working at?
Yes.
In January of 2020, do you know whether or not Albert and your mom were planning to go on a cruise to celebrate their anniversary?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
It was a couple-day cruise that they were planning to go on. It was towards the end of the month.
Okay. And did they go on a cruise?
They did, yes.
Where did they go on this cruise? Do you know?
No.
What was going to happen with you and Lena and Gannon while they were gone on a cruise?
She hired a babysitter.
And did you know this babysitter?
No.
Do you know why she hired a babysitter?
No.
And you were how old at the time?
17.
And had you watched the kids before?
Yes.
Have you watched the kids overnight before?
Yes.
How did that, did you ever ask your mom, why are you getting a babysitter? I'm here.
Yeah.
How'd she respond to that?
I don't remember. I just remember being like really upset about it.
Do you remember this babysitter's name?
No.
Had you ever seen her before?
No.
Have you ever seen her after?
No.
When they get back from the cruise, how long were they gone? Do you remember?
I think it was the weekend.
So was it a 3-day weekend or a long weekend, or was it just Saturday, Sunday?
I don't remember exactly.
When they come back, how was Albert's and your mom's relationship at that time?
It seemed fine. I think his mom came to visit after that too.
When you say his mom, are you talking about Albert's mom?
Albert's mom, yes.
And how long did she stay?
Only a few days.
On January 25th of 2020, did Albert have to go to another training?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that. Do you know where he was going?
I think it was Oklahoma.
And do you know how long he was to be gone?
No.
Was it longer than a couple days?
Yes.
Was it longer than a week?
I don't know.
Okay, not a problem. So, do you remember when he actually left to go on that training?
You mean like the exact day or?
Yeah, if you do, you know.
No. It was like close to the time that his mom came. It was like a couple days after, I think.
Did he leave with his mom when he went to the training?
I don't remember.
Why don't we do it this way? Do you remember January 26th of 2020?
Yes.
And was that the day that you were supposed to go on a hike with your mother, Gannon, and Lena?
Yes.
Did Albert leave the day before?
I don't remember.
Okay. I don't remember. That's fine. Was Albert Stauch there on the day that you were going to go on a hike?
No.
So was he in Oklahoma, on his way to Oklahoma, or do you know?
Yes.
You just don't know when he left.
Right.
Is that fair? All right. So January 26, 2020, that's a Sunday. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Did you recall going to church with your mother and Gannon and Lena? that
No, we
Sunday?
did not.
And is that something you would remember if you did go to church that day?
Yes.
And on January 26, 2020, were you scheduled to go to work that day?
No, I was not scheduled.
Did you go to work that day?
Yes, I got called in.
And tell the jury about that. Where were you working and why did you get called in?
I was working at Massage Envy. And I think they were like short staffed or somebody called out. That's why I got called in.
And was that unusual?
No.
Would other employees get called in kind of last second if someone calls in sick, that kind of thing?
Yes.
And what Massage Envy were you working at back in January 2020?
First in Maine.
Where is that within the city? Do you know?
It's near like shopping complexes. I don't remember exactly where it was or road names or anything.
Is it in the northern part of the city?
Yes.
Off of the Powers Drive over there?
Yes.
Okay. How long would it take you to get to work?
25, 30 minutes.
And you were living on kind of the south side of the city?
Right.
All right. So you go to work that day, so obviously you didn't get to go on a hike. Do you know whether or not your mom and Gannon and Lena went on a hike?
They did.
How do you know that?
She told me and I got sent pictures.
And whose idea was it to go on this hike? Do you remember?
No.
But it was a planned event where you were actually going to go on it as well.
Right.
Did your mom tell you anything about what had happened on the hike, in particular with Gannon, while they're out at the hike?
Yes. She said that he had used the bathroom like in his pants, so they had to leave, go home.
And how were you communicating with her?
Through text.
And do you know where they went to go on a hike?
I think it was Garden of the Gods, but I could be wrong. I don't remember.
You may approach a witness.
You may.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked at 2:05. Do you guys, I don't know who's doing. Can I approach her?
You may. Go ahead.
I'm going to hand you People's Exhibit 205, which is a notebook. Recognize that notebook?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to look at that last night?
Yes.
And do you know what that notebook is?
Yes.
And what is it?
It's text messages between my mom and I.
And are those text messages between January 25th, 2020 at 3:42 p.m. all the way January 29th, 2020 to 4:27 p.m.?
Yes.
And does those text messages in that notebook accurately reflect the conversations that you were having with your mom via text messages during that time period?
Yes.
This time we move to admit People's Exhibit 205.
Exhibit 205 will be admitted. Go ahead.
Now, in People's Exhibit 205, we're going to publish that and go through them, okay, Ms.
Okay.
Hunt? Would that help you kind of establish a timeline as to when conversations are being made?
Yes.
You can go ahead and publish 205, please. And Ms. Hunt, you can either look at the notebook
Okay.
or the TV screen, whatever's easier for you. So on the first page, we see a text on January 25th at 9:09 p.m. Do you see that?
Yes.
And do you know what that's regarding?
Something about our dogs.
Now, for the jury's benefit, there's a blue bubble and a green bubble up on the screen. Who is the blue bubble reference to?
I am the blue bubble.
So that's coming from your phone.
Yes.
And the green bubble?
It's my mom.
And this, what we see on the screen behind us looks like a picture. See that?
Yes.
What is that picture of, you know?
Of one of our dogs.
And do you know why it says maybe Nicole there on the green bubble?
Do not.
But you know that's your mom's phone number, right?
Yes.
And so do you remember having this conversation with her back on the 25th?
Yes.
The next message says they are saying it may have been his daughters. Do you remember what that was a reference to?
No.
Is this about the same time when Kobe Bryant, the basketball player, died in a helicopter accident?
Yes.
And were you and your mom discussing that prior to you going to work that day?
Yes.
Do you know if that's in reference to perhaps Kobe Bryant's daughters being on the helicopter?
Yes.
And do you remember having that conversation now that I've said those things?
I do.
Okay. If we can scroll down, please. Now, we have a blue bubble that says daughter up at the top. Is that your phone number at the time?
Yes.
So you say, oh no. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you scroll down, please? That was with him? Is that what you say?
Oh no. Yes.
Okay. Can we go ahead and scroll down a little further, please? Going up there. Can you go back? I'm sorry. Back, right there. All right, so we're now at January 26, 2020 at 5:11 p.m. You're where at this time? Do you remember?
I'm at work
And do you know where your mom and the kids are?
on a hike.
So you say where you're going, right?
Yes.
Are you there at 5:11 p.m.?
Yes.
You can look at the TV and it's easier to see it, okay?
Okay.
She says, get good. Can we scroll down? She says food. Remember that?
Yes.
And why are you asking her where? Anywhere close to my work, I want chips.
Because I was hungry.
You wanted your mom to bring you some food, right?
Yes.
Do you remember having this conversation with her back then? Go ahead and scroll. Now, here she says, no, LOL, we are going up the street because Gannon pooped his pants. Is that the first time you hear about Gannon pooping his pants?
For that day, yes.
Had that happened before?
Previously, yes.
Did Gannon had some stomach issues?
Yes.
That wasn't too surprising to you when you saw this message?
No.
Was it surprising to your mom?
No.
You say OMG. What does that stand for?
Oh my gosh.
I think everyone knows that, but I hope you understand why I asked that. Okay. Can we go ahead and scroll down, please? So what do you think she means when she says, yeah, all that movie?
Like exercising or moving around.
Would that in the past cause issues with Gannon's stomach and cause him to have accidents?
To my knowledge, yes.
How did you get that knowledge?
What I was told.
Who told her?
I don't know.
Remember?
I don't know because it was said multiple times. So I don't remember.
No problem. We can go ahead and scroll down, please. Okay, let's stop right there, please. So now we're at the point, it's January 26th at 9:54 p.m. Are you still at work?
Yes.
Remember getting this text message that we see on the screen now that says, "Do panic, but Gannon turned on a candle downstairs, set the downstairs on fire. I had to get the dogs and Lena out and run back downstairs and jump on him with a cover and put it out. I kept jumping on it."
Yes.
What were you doing at Massage Envy? What was your role?
I worked at the front desk.
So were you able to read these as soon as you got them, or with customers, or what was going on?
We were pretty busy often, so I was probably reading it in between.
And then she says at 9:54 and 52 seconds, he is fine, he is scared and saying sorry and freaking out. Do you remember getting that?
Yes.
And do you remember how you responded to these text messages from your mom?
Yes, I was reading them pretty quickly because I was at work and I thought she was saying that the fire was on our dogs.
And you know that because the text messages are coming up, or do you remember doing that?
I remember, yeah.
And tell us about your dogs. How many dogs did you have?
We had 2 dogs, a French bulldog and an English bulldog.
And when did you get those dogs? Do you remember?
A little before Christmas.
So shortly before all this happened?
Yes.
So December 2019?
I think it was closer to like November.
And do you currently still have those dogs?
Yes.
What's their names?
Sadie and Chance,
What kind of dog is Sadie?
a French bulldog,
Chance is?
an English bulldog.
And Chance was named after who?
My dad.
Okay, we can go ahead and scroll down. So you say the fire was on Chance.
Yes.
Now, are you saying this because you didn't really get a chance to read the text, or what's going on here?
Yes, I didn't really get a chance to read it, and it was just like a lot, and I was so confused what was going on.
Would Gannon have a habit of lighting candles and hanging out in the basement by himself?
No.
Have you ever seen him light a candle and sit on the couch hanging out next to a candle?
No.
So eventually when we scroll down, we'll see that your mom makes it real clear that it was Gannon that was involved in this candle. What were you thinking when you were getting these text messages?
None of the texts were fully clear, so they were really confusing at first. I was kind of asking to elaborate.
And did she actually send you a picture of the area where this candle supposedly fell down?
Yes.
And do we see that now on the TV screen?
Yes.
This was sent January 26, 2020 at 9:57 p.m.
Yes.
Can we go ahead and scroll down again, please? So she says when you ask about Chance, she says, no, Chance was upstairs. The house is smoky. Do you remember her saying that to you?
Yes.
Scroll down, please. Said the first was on Chance. What did you mean by that?
I meant fire.
So did you think there was 2 fires, or?
I thought that's what she meant the whole time, that the fire was on Chance, because she never said any names.
Go ahead and scroll down. They fire, and then she says, I jumped on him with a cover. Remember that?
Yes.
You ever talk to your mom about this text message on the phone or in person about what the heck are you talking about? What happened here?
I did once I got home.
Talk about that when we get there, okay?
Okay.
Let's go ahead and scroll down and look at the text message. So you say, oh, okay, and she says, I never said Chance. Remember getting that?
Yes.
You said jumped on him, and you said OMG again, right?
Yes.
Says yes, but never said Chance. Read again. Remember her saying that?
Yes.
I just had a heart attack.
Yes.
Why did you a heart attack? But why did you say I just had a heart attack?
Because I thought that she meant Chance, and still no names were said, so I don't know who she was referring to at that point in time.
Did you eventually, as we'll see as we scroll down, find out that it was Gannon she was referring to?
Yes.
Obviously, when you get home, you find that out, right?
Yeah.
So you're asking where the other dog is, Sadie, right?
Mhm.
Yes or no?
Yes, sorry.
And your mom responds she was in the chair.
Yes.
So you're concerned about the dogs.
Yes.
Go ahead and scroll down some more. And then you say OMG by the fire.
Yes.
So your mom says that Lena grabbed Sadie and I grabbed Chance NR.
Yes.
And did you talk to her about that?
Yes.
Chance, now all of us were upstairs. You remember her saying that?
Yes.
And scroll down. He was downstairs. You know who she was talking about when she said he was downstairs at that point?
Not until the next message.
So you say Gannon was downstairs.
Yes.
She says yes, right?
Yes.
During this conversation, is that the first time that you realized that Gannon may have been burned or was part of this fire situation?
Yes.
OMG. You ask her, how did he knock it over? Why did
Yes.
you ask her that?
Because at this point, I'm still confused of what happened or how it happened.
Was there some confusion based on your experience of Gannon not being the type of kid that would hang out by a candle in the basement?
Yes.
Scroll down. As he said, he must have fell asleep. You say, so it wasn't? I think you meant to say knocked over?
Yes.
I don't even know how you pronounce that. And you can go ahead and scroll down. He says, yes, OMG, can you read? Sounds like a typical mother, teenage daughter text conversation going on here, right?
Yes.
Other than the obvious fire situation.
Yes.
So how did you respond to that, you know?
Yes.
So she goes on and says, he must have knocked it over while asleep unless he was awake and lied. Does that sound like something Gannon would do?
I don't know because kids will lie sometimes, so I can't really answer that.
Okay, no problem. You can go ahead and scroll down some more, please. She says, but he acted sorry for sure. And you say AWW. What does AWW stand for?
Oh,
Like, oh?
no, like, oh,
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. So do you remember about what time you got off work on the 26th during this text messaging process here?
yeah, it was late around like 10:30 or so.
If the information from Massage Envy says you clocked out at 10:18 p.m. on January 26th, would that be accurate?
Yes.
Just refreshing, Your Honor.
You know, you can ask her what time she thinks she clocked out.
Do you know approximately what time you clocked out and left work that day?
Yes, a little after 10 sometime.
In between 10 and 10:30?
Yes.
Do you remember what time you got home?
Takes me like 25 minutes or so to get home, so a little bit of time after that.
Did you talk to your mom on your way home from Massage Envy that night?
I normally tell her that I'm leaving, so probably yes.
And so what do you see when you get home? Describe to the jury what you see in the house when you got home from work.
I get home. My mom and Lena are in the living room and they're telling me about the fire. Gannon wasn't upstairs at this point.
So who, you said they are telling you, were both Lena and your mom telling you about what happened downstairs?
Yes.
What did your mom tell you at this point when you get home?
She told me that the candle was knocked over. She thinks that he was playing on his Nintendo and he wasn't supposed to be, so that maybe that's how he knocked it over. That after the fire, they ran outside and she called her fireman friend and asked if the fumes in the house were okay for us to go back inside, and they said yes. And she said that when they were in the street, Gannon was screaming that he hates his life and screaming different things.
What did you think about that last part your mother just told you about Gannon life?
I didn't think that the candle thing was a big deal, so it was just still so like confusing.
Was your mother concerned about Albert finding out about this and being upset about it?
Normally, Albert's not the one to get mad about like stuff getting messed up, so
When she told you about Gannon going out in the street and yelling that he hates his life and things like that, did that sound like the Gannon that you knew?
no, he hasn't done that before.
You said that it was Lena and your mom upstairs when you got home on the 26th afterward.
Mhm.
Do you know where Gannon was at?
Downstairs.
Did you go downstairs?
Yes,
What did you see when you went downstairs?
him laying in his bed,
Did you go into his room?
by the doorway.
Was he asleep?
I don't remember.
Did you talk to him?
No,
Was the light on in his room?
I don't know.
Is that the last time you saw him?
Yes,
Were there any windows open in the basement when you went down there?
yes, the windows were open. It was cold down there.
How many windows were open down in the basement?
I don't know.
It was January 26th. You know about what time it is now when you went down to Gannon's room?
It was a little later because my mom was like, "Let's go tell Gannon goodnight." So that's why we went down there.
Anything unusual about your mom saying, let's go tell Gannon goodnight?
Not something that she normally would do.
It's not something she would normally do?
Correct.
That's surprising to you when she said that?
Yes.
She go down there with you when you went to Gannon's room?
Yes, we both went down there.
Do you recall your mom talking to Gannon?
She said goodnight to him. She was like, "Good night."
Do you know whether or not Gannon responded?
I don't remember, no.
So was Gannon's bedroom window open as well?
I don't know.
Was it cold down in the basement?
Yes.
Did you sleep down in the basement that night?
No,
Where was your room within the house?
in the basement.
Would it have been close to Gannon's room, or was it like on the other side of the basement area?
On the other side of the basement.
Was your room cold in there?
I don't remember.
Why'd you sleep upstairs?
Because it was cold downstairs. You could still smell like the fumes and like everything just felt like everything in the house just felt weird.
Why did it feel weird?
Because my mom made the comments. She was like, "Gannon's acting weird. I don't know what's wrong with him." She said that she was scared.
Who else slept upstairs?
Lena.
Is there anyone else in the house?
No.
So it's you, your mom, Lena, and Gannon?
Yes.
Gannon's the only one sleeping in the basement?
Yes.
It's cold down there?
Yes.
Are we talking freezing cold, or was it just colder than the upstairs?
Colder than the upstairs.
That's why you didn't sleep down there?
Yeah.
And where did you sleep? In particular, what bed?
In my parents' room.
Did you sleep with your mom in the same bed?
Yes, sorry.
There you go. Okay, good.
Young, if you can find a reasonable breaking point in the next 5 minutes, please.
This is a good breaking point right now, Judge, if you like.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will take our morning recess until 10:45. Again, do not discuss the case among yourselves. Do not discuss the case with anyone else. And we'll see you back at 10:45. All rise for the jury, please. Can we take up outside the presence of the jury at this point in time? Okay. Let's go ahead and bring the jury back in. Let's have Ms. Hunt. Where did Ms. Hunt go? Oh, she's out calling. Okay.
Got our microphones off.
Yes.
I just want to make sure.
I believe so. Yeah. Ms. Hunt, if you would resume your seat in the witness stand, I remind you, ma'am, that you're still under oath. All rise for the jury, please. Thank you. You may all be seated. Court will recall 20 CR 1358, People versus Letecia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury has returned to the courtroom. When we took our break, we were in the midst of the testimony of Ms. Hunt. That's where we will resume. With that, Mr. Young.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Hunt, there's a few more text messages from January 26th that I want to cover with you
Okay.
before we go into the 27th. Your book should be opened up to January 26th at 10:10 p.m. Do you see that? You see a text from your mother that says, "My arm is burnt jumping on him."
Yes.
Are you still at work when you get this text?
Yes.
So you say, "OMG." Can we go ahead and scroll down, please? And you say the fire was on Gannon.
Yes.
Are things becoming now clearer for you as to what she was talking about in her text message at work?
Yes.
Go scroll down. Go ahead and go down a little bit further. Yep. And she responds, "No, the cover was." Do you remember that?
Yes.
Scroll down, please. He was wrapped in it. Remember her saying that?
Yes.
Now, when you got home, I know we talked about what you saw, but did you see any injuries to your mom?
No.
Did you see any burn marks on her arm?
I don't remember.
When you got that prior text about her saying that she burned her arm jumping on him, were you concerned that your mother may have been burned during this fire?
Yes.
Did you ask her about it when you got home?
No.
Did she say anything about being burned when you got home?
I don't remember.
You can go ahead and scroll down. She says, "I jumped on him, though, because he had the cover around him." Do you remember her saying that?
Yes.
Scroll down. And you say, "OMGG has." And it looks like we can scroll down again that she sent you a picture. Do you remember what that picture was?
Oh, the couch being burnt.
Was it the floor area with some blankets around what appears to be a burned area of the carpet?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Sorry.
Do you remember getting that night?
Yes.
Go ahead and scroll down, please. And you ask, "What is that?" Did she ever answer that?
No.
Okay. And so, do you remember about what time you went to bed that night after you got home?
No.
Do you remember whether or not you had to work in the morning?
I did. Yes.
And what time did you have to be at work now on the 27th of January, 2020?
By 8:30.
That normal working time in the morning?
Yes.
We can scroll down now to a text from January 27th, 2020. Again, the blue is you. Do you remember making that text, "Are you here?"
Yes.
Why did you ask your mother if she is here? Remember?
I don't remember. No.
When you say here, are you referring to the house?
Yes.
Were you still at home at 7:20 a.m. on January 27th, 2020?
Yes.
Do you remember about what time you left the house?
Around 8 o'clock.
So earlier you testified that you slept in the same bed with your mother that night.
Mhm.
Does that give you any context as to why you might text her and say, "Are you here?"
I don't remember why I said it. I didn't see her.
So she wasn't in bed when you woke up, maybe?
Yes.
You know where she went or where she was at?
No.
Can you scroll down, please? It looks like that she texted you another picture, January 27th at 9:05 a.m. Do you recall getting a picture from her then?
Yes.
Do you know what that picture is?
Of our dog.
Okay. Do you know which dog it is?
Yes. Sadie.
Is that the first time you had any communication with your mom that morning?
Yes.
Would you have been at work by then?
Yes.
I know it's been over 3 years, but do you recall whether or not your mom's vehicle was at the residence when you went to work that day?
I don't remember.
What kind of car did your mom drive?
A black Volkswagen Tiguan.
Fairly new?
Yes.
Was it under lease?
Yes.
What kind of car were you driving?
A Volkswagen Jetta.
And what kind of car was Albert driving when he was home?
A Nissan truck.
Remember what color that truck was?
Red.
So you go to work. Are you at work then when you get this picture of, did you say that was Sadie?
Yes.
So you are at work then?
Yes.
All right. And what was your shift going to be that day? Do you recall? What time would you get off?
I don't remember. It was like a morning shift, so it lasted until 4:30 or so.
We can go ahead and scroll down, please. So when you get the image of Sadie, you say OMG, and she says, she was like, it's warm. Let me try. Is your mom talking about Sadie?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know that when you got this message?
Yes.
Can you scroll down, please? Then on January 27th at 9:27 a.m., your mother texts you, OMG, something isn't right. Do you remember getting that text message?
Yes.
Do you have any idea what that meant?
No.
Do you have any idea what that means now?
Yes.
What does that mean now?
She sent me screenshots of text messages after that.
And what were the screenshots and what text messages were they?
It was a conversation between her and Albert. I think.
Remember what the substance of that conversation was?
About bath salts or hanging out with Gannon's older friend.
How did the bath salts and the older friend relate to Gannon in this text message?
It was said that that's what he had mentioned.
Did you ever know Gannon to use bath salts or have any association with bath salts in the entire time that you knew him?
No.
Okay, if we can scroll down, please. And so we see now images on an attachment that was sent from your mom. It looks like it was sent to you at 9:29 a.m. on January 27th. Is that the screenshots that you just talked about that she sent you?
Yes.
What were you thinking was going on here? I mean, had she ever sent you any messages like this before in the past?
No.
Any messages related to how Gannon and his activities and what's going on with Gannon ever sent to you in the past by your mother?
Not like the messages, no.
Was it a shock for you to see that somehow Gannon may have been related to bath salts?
Yes.
Why?
I didn't even know we had bath salts, and I wouldn't even think he would know what those are.
Did you know what they were back then?
Yes.
What were they?
Put him in the bathtub.
Ask a stupid question, you get right. Did you know whether or not kids were using bath salts at this time frame as a drug or a method to get high, that kind of thing?
I did not at the time, no.
Did you later learn about that?
Yes.
But when you get this message, you didn't connect that as to being Gannon may have been trying to get high on bath salts or something?
No.
Can you scroll down, please? So you didn't respond to that, but at 4:20 p.m., you text your mother, just got off.
Yes.
What is that?
I always text her when I leave or when I get off.
Do that pretty routinely?
Yes.
And how did she respond to you saying just got off?
She said yay.
Had you talked to her on the phone at any point up until this time frame when you got off of work?
No.
Had you had any idea what her plans were that day on January 27th, 2020, when you were at work?
No. I did get a text message though from Gannon's phone.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
I approach you, witness.
Right.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 204. And that's a plastic sleeve, so you can pull the contents out, and I'll ask if you recognize that. Have you had a chance to look at that?
Yes.
What is People's Exhibit 204?
It's
What
a
it is?
message between me and Gannon's phone.
And is that what you're talking about? Is that the message you got indicating what it says here?
Yes.
And what was your understanding of what this message meant to you?
That my mom left her phone at home, and if I needed anything to text Gannon's phone.
And does that help refresh your memory as to what was going on the 27th while you were at work?
Yes.
And does these messages accurately reflect the conversation you had with regards to these two phones back on January 27th, 2020?
Yes.
Move to admit People's Exhibit 204.
Defense, Exhibit 204 will be admitted. Go ahead.
And so rather than publish it, I'm going to ask you to read it. Is the messages from Gannon's phone, is that in green on People's Exhibit 204?
Yes.
Did you read the messages, and at what time you got those, from Gannon's phone?
At 10:37, he messaged, Tisha left phone at home. If you need her, text me. And then at 1:20, messaged, you okay, miss you.
And did you respond to that particular message?
Yes, at 1:24, I said, yes, miss you too.
So if you needed to get a hold of your mom, you knew you needed to call Gannon's phone. Is that what this is all about?
Yes,
Did you know whether or not where they were going or what they were doing when the message came in saying she left her phone at home?
at the time, no.
Was that unusual for your mother to leave her own phone at home when she went out running errands or to do whatever she was going to do?
Yes,
Why was that unusual?
she always brought her phone everywhere.
Did you think it was unusual at the time you got this text message from Gannon's phone saying, hey, Tisha left her phone at home. Call me if you need something?
No,
Why do you think it's unusual now?
it's just weird how this particular day she left her phone at home.
And you say that because when you get off of work and get home, Gannon wasn't there?
Yes,
So how long did it take you to get home on the 27th, 2020? Do you recall?
no.
What happens when you get home?
When I get home, mom's upstairs, just have a normal conversation, and she tells me that she looked up on the internet how to like remove fire stains from the carpet. So she wanted me to go to the store and get that stuff for her.
Who did you see home when you got home?
I remember seeing my mom home, and then Lena came in after.
Did you see Gannon?
No.
Think anything unusual about Gannon not being home when you get off work?
I did ask her, I said, where is Gannon at? And she said that he was with one of his friends and that she told him to come back by a certain time because we were going to dinner.
So if you text your mother that you just got off at 4:20 p.m., what time do you think you got home based on that text message?
4:50.
If we have People's Exhibit 47 that shows you getting home at 4:37 p.m., would that be about right?
Yeah.
Do you know that there's Ring video in your neighborhood and you see when cars are going? And
Yes.
so if you get home about 4:37 p.m., where was Lena at when you got home?
She was outside playing. I remember her coming in with like a bike.
And what time, do you know what time she got out of school?
Elementary gets out at like 2:30.
She ride a bus to and from school?
Yes.
Would it be unusual for her to be outside from getting off the bus up until you got home from work?
Yes, because normally there's like a routine. Kids would come home and like get snacks, do their homework, and then they'd go outside and play.
So when you get home that day, what was your mother doing?
I don't remember. I just remember talking to her before I left.
You remember about how long you were in the house before you left?
No.
Did you ever go down to the basement?
No.
Did Lena ever go down to the basement?
Not that I know of, no.
Did your mother ever go down to the basement while you were at home?
I know she did after, maybe, I'm not sure.
So do you remember about how long you were in the house before you left?
No, it was very like brief.
If the video says it's about 15 to 16 minutes by the time you pull up and then leave again with Lena, would that be accurate?
Yes.
And again, for the record, that's People's Exhibit 47. So what did your mom ask you to do when you were at home?
She asked me to go to the dollar store to get the items that she sent me because it was too clean, like the fire that happened downstairs the night before.
And did anyone go with you to the dollar store?
Lena did, yes.
Whose idea was it for Lena to go with you?
My mom's.
Why is that, you know?
No.
And did she tell you exactly what you needed to buy at the dollar store?
Yes.
And do you remember what that was?
Looking at the messages, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna, if I can just have a second, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
You remember getting a receipt from the dollar store when you went there?
I don't know.
Let me see if I can help you. Coach Yarn.
You may.
I'm going to hand you People's Exhibit 197 and 198, okay?
Okay.
You recognize those items? Let's start with 197.
Yes.
What is People's Exhibit 197?
The items that I bought at the dollar store.
And is that a photograph of a receipt from the dollar store?
Yes.
What about 198? You see that envelope?
Yes.
They're writing on that envelope?
At the top.
Yeah. Is there like a label with some print on it?
Yes.
Does that relate to the dollar store receipt that we have a photograph of in 197?
Yes.
There's some scissors to your right on that table right there. Would you mind opening that envelope and just pulling out whatever's in there and take a look at it to yourself if you don't mind?
I can just cut the top.
You can cut it. You know, it's okay if I open it?
That's fine.
Thanks. And just for the record, I'll cut it open for you, okay? Cut it along the side here. Scissors back on that table, please. You just pull that item out of that envelope and take a look at it.
Wait, hold on. She need gloves.
No, it's a.
Okay.
Do you want gloves? I guess I should ask you, right?
I don't know.
There's some gloves. If you don't want to touch anything in there, you can put gloves on.
Okay.
We can do it this way. How about I pull it out?
Okay.
I'll show that to you. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
What is that?
The receipt.
Okay. Is that the same receipt that we have a photograph of in 197?
Yes.
The same general condition it was when you got it back on January 27th, 2020.
Yes.
It's lawyer stuff. Bear with me, okay? Yeah, I move to admit People's Exhibit 197 and 198 at this time.
Hence, exhibits 197 and 198 will be admitted.
Request to publish People's Exhibit 197.
You may go ahead.
As we're pulling that up, we have to mute the screen, Your Honor, so that we can pull up another exhibit. Thanks. Did your mom tell you why you needed to buy these items at the dollar store?
Yes.
Why?
To help with the fire that happened the night before. She said that she looked it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That she looked it up.
So did she want to clean the area where the fire was? Is that what's going on?
Yes.
Is that what she told you?
Yes.
Is that there? Okay. We can probably unmute it now, Judge. Thanks. So behind you on the TV screen, we have 197. Can you just read off the items that you bought there at the Dollar Tree?
Elastics. Sorry, it's kind of blurry.
You could probably look at the one behind you. It might be a little clearer. Maybe we can zoom in on it a little. Feel better?
Yes. Elastics, extra strength. DEO. I don't know what that stands for.
Deodorizer, maybe?
Yes.
Remember buying deodorizer at the Dollar Tree that day?
Yes. Baking soda, baby oil, baby lotion, double bubble, trash bags, and cotton rounds.
Bubble gum there as well, maybe?
Yes.
Is that Lena?
Yes. I remember I had got like lotion and stuff for myself there too. So yeah.
And so you and Lena go. Do you remember about how long you were gone?
No.
We can take that down if you want. What happens when you get home?
We get back. Time had gone by. There was like a specific time that my mom said that she asked Gannon to be home, and as time like approached, he never came home.
So was there a plan for you guys to have dinner together or anything like that on the
Yes.
27th when you got home?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
She said that she asked him to come home by like 5 or 6 and said that we were going to go eat sushi. And then when time had gone by and he didn't get back, she was like, I guess he didn't want to eat sushi. And then after that, we started looking for him.
Did she tell you when he had went to a friend's house?
No.
Was it unusual for Gannon to go to a friend's house and play and do things that normal 11-year-old kids do?
No.
So at that point, what did you think? I mean, was it unusual for him not to come home when he was told to come home?
Yes.
What do you base that on?
Because he's very specific with like time.
Is your mother pretty strict when it comes to following the rules around the house?
Yes.
Been that way with you your entire life?
Yes.
Has she been that way with Lena and Gannon?
Yes.
You go over there, you're going to be home at a certain time, or there's going to be consequences type thing?
Yes.
And so, what was your mom's demeanor like? What was her expressions when she was telling you that Gannon was supposed to be home at 6 and he didn't come home?
She was worried. Remember, we got in the car and we drove to his friend's house. Lena walked up to the door to knock and see if he was there. They said no. And after that, that's when she started to get worried.
Green again.
Yes, as soon as she's ready, Judge. I mean, we can unmute it now, Judge, if you don't mind. Thanks. So what I'd like to do is scroll down, if it's okay, Mr. Gratiano, to January 27th at 7:02 p.m. Be the next one there. If you go, keep going. Are you there? Do you see that text message in the book that you have in front of you?
Yes.
It appears to be a screenshot of something. Do you remember what that screenshot was?
Messages between her and Albert.
Now, at 7:02 p.m. on the 27th, were you out looking for Gannon? Is that when you and Lena were going to a friend's house to see if he was there, that type of thing?
Yes.
You know why she's sending you this screenshot? Did she ever tell you why she was doing that?
I can't remember what's on it.
Okay. That's okay, Harley. We can move on. Why don't we scroll down, please? And then she sends you any luck at 7:08 p.m. on the 27th. Do you know what she was referring to with regards to that?
To finding Gannon.
Did she go out with you to look for Gannon at all?
We all went out together at first, and then I remember I took my car and drove down to his school to see if he was like at the park or something.
At that point in time, did you think he was out and about? And what was going on through your mind? Did you think he had run away or what?
Yeah, I just thought that he had ran away or he was just at his friend's, didn't want to come home.
Why did you think that?
That's just what I was told, so
Who was telling you that?
my mom.
Can you scroll down, please? And so you're responding to her. I couldn't remember the exact road that the park is on. Usually can just see with my eyes, but it is so dark, so I couldn't tell. But I'm at the school now. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
And you're at Gannon School at this point in time?
Yes.
And Lena's with you? Or do you remember?
I don't remember.
And you say, if we scroll down, please, look, OMG. And she responds, okay, anything. Do you know what's going on when this is being relayed to you?
No.
And then if we scroll down some more, please. You're asking your mom to ask Lena if she remembers any cars. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
Why are you asking her that?
At this point in time, I'm pretty sure we were like knocking door to door. We had got told that he was with his friend Jimmy or something, and Lena couldn't remember which house was Jimmy's house. So I was like, does she remember like any cars or anything that was there?
Did you see, because the next message is old station wagon. Did you see an old station wagon out there? Is that why you're asking your mom about that?
Yes.
So you're asking her to ask Lena if Lena remembers an old station wagon. Does that sound right?
Yes, because she had been to this kid's house before.
Okay, we can go ahead and scroll down. You're asking, or old cars. Is that the same thing? I mean, are you seeing old vehicles out in the neighborhood or something like that?
Yeah.
You ask about colors, and do you remember how your mom responded?
She said, no, don't go there by yourself.
we scroll down, please? Keep going, please. And then she says Connor's mom is on the way and she could go with you. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Is there any reason why, or did your mom tell you any reason why she wasn't going with you to help look for Gannon?
She said that she was going to stay home unless like he came home, so somebody would be there.
Can you scroll down, please? And she's asking again, anything yet? And keep scrolling, please. You say no, and then she says anything. And there's a time gap of a minute or 10 minutes, it looks like, between the anythings. Do you remember that happening as you're out searching? She texts you to see if you're finding anything?
Yes.
If we can scroll down to January 27th at 8:43. A little further down. She tells you that she's still waiting. Do you know what that was about?
Still waiting at the house.
And so was that telling you that Gannon hadn't come home yet?
Yes.
You respond no. Why did you respond no to that? Do you remember?
From her previous message.
So what does she mean by still waiting when you said no? It's kind of confusing to me.
I had said no to her previous anything message.
Oh, okay. Got it. And then you say, look at the recent comment and we can scroll down. Remember saying that?
Yes.
And you ask her, do you need me to get you anything? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And we can scroll down. She says, no, I may need to go to the store. Recall that?
Yes.
Do you know what store she needed to go to?
No.
And then below that at 6:21 a.m., which would be now the next morning, January 28th, there's a text message to you that says, don't answer the door for anyone. That's all.
Yes. So we had made a post in our neighborhood Facebook group, and she said that a bunch of people have her address, so people might show up. So don't answer the door.
Okay. While you're out on the night of January 27th, 2020, was there several people in the neighborhood looking for Gannon at that same time?
Not like people how it was like days after.
Did the police eventually come to your house on January 27th, 2020?
Yes.
And do you know why the police came to your house?
To file a police report.
Do you know whether or not your mother had dialed 911 or called the police?
I remember when we were in the car when it first happened, she was like, what do I do? Do I call Albert? And I remember she called Albert, and I don't remember if she called 911 or I don't know.
Okay. Regardless, the police show up. Do you remember about what time they showed up to your house?
I remember they took a long time to get there, but I don't know what time.
Prior to the police getting there, do you remember your mom telling you to look at Gannon's backpack to see if there's...
Yes.
You do that?
Yes.
What did you see in Gannon's backpack during this time?
When you open the backpack, you had a folder in there, and in the folder was a Swisher Sweets,
And what is a Swisher Sweets?
like a cigar roll thing.
What did you think about when you saw a cigar in Gannon's backpack?
Wasn't like him, and I was like, I don't know how a kid got this.
Flash forward to when the police get there. Did your mom tell the police anything about a Swisher Sweet cigar being in his backpack?
I don't know.
You recall when the police were there that your mom bring you in to talk about the Swisher Sweet cigar? It's in the backpack?
I don't know.
You know that the police officers had body-worn cameras on and audio in there?
Yes.
If that happened, that would be on those?
Yes.
Well, what did you think about the Swisher Sweet being in the backpack and your mother having you go search his backpack?
For one, I didn't understand why it was in his backpack, and it's not like it was trying to be hidden because it was, as soon as you opened it, it was right there. So
So if it was Gannon's Swisher Sweet cigar, You wouldn't expect to find it. It would have been hidden in the backpack. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Yes.
But it was out in the open. As soon as you open the backpack, there it is.
Yes. Like in the folder. Yes.
You just have a moment, Your Honor.
Me?
Do you remember texting other people, friends in the neighborhood, people that you worked with that may have lived in the neighborhood, about Gannon being missing? Can you look for him or let me know if you see him, that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Were you doing that pretty routinely during this time frame, the night of January 27, 2020?
Yes.
Did you get any response from any of them?
Yes.
What was their responses?
Like praying for you. I'll keep my eye out. Let me know if you need anything.
None of them saw Gannon, though?
No.
So January 28th at 2020, she's telling you don't answer the door for anyone. Do you remember when you got that particular text message?
What do you mean?
Did you read it as soon as you got it, or did you read it when you woke up that morning?
Whenever I woke up.
Remember what time you woke up that morning?
No.
We can scroll down, please. She then sends you a text that says, I'm going to see if people are out looking at 6:21 a.m. on January 28th, 2020. Now, if you see below that, it says read January 28th, 2020 at 7:25:22.
Yes.
Is that when you would have read this text message?
Yes.
And if we scroll back up a little bit, it says the same thing for the prior one.
Yes.
Does that help you recall when you got up that day?
Yes.
So what did you think about that when you got this text message? Don't answer the door for anyone. I'm going to see if people are out looking.
I thought that she just woke up early to try to look for Gannon.
Up until this point, at 6:21, January 28th, to the point where your mother says that Gannon went to his house, had you ever gone into the storage room of your house?
No.
You know where the storage room is? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
It's where the furnace is and where boxes are and things like that.
Yes.
Did you ever go in there?
No.
Are you a light sleeper or a heavy sleeper?
Heavy sleeper.
If your mom was in the basement at 6 a.m. on January 28th, would you have heard her down there?
No.
Would you have heard her if there was objects being moved around within the basement?
No.
Did you see her at 7:25 a.m. on January 28th when you woke up?
I don't remember.
Why don't we scroll down and see if that helps us? So at 7:31 a.m., you send her, it looks like a screenshot. Do you remember what that screenshot was?
Yes. There was just people in our neighborhood Facebook group like saying things or posting like their ring footage. So I would try to keep her updated.
And is that if we scroll down some other screenshots we see, is that what you're sending your mom is what people are posting?
Yes.
And then you say, if we can scroll down some more, please. She's sending it see page. Do you remember that?
Yes.
What did you mean by that?
Separate.
Okay. Separate page, as it says down below.
I think I just meant she is sending it separate.
Now, what was your understanding as to what was going on with Albert? Was Gannon's missing? It's been overnight. We're now on January 28th in the morning. Do you know whether or not Albert was making arrangements to come home?
Yes, he was.
Do you know whether or not your mother was going to pick him up at the airport or somewhere else?
She was gonna. I think she was gonna pick him up at the airport. I don't know. Things had like changed so much.
Did she go to pick him up at the airport? Do you remember?
I remember her leaving. Yes.
Did you talk to her before she left?
No.
We talked about your mother's vehicle, this black Tiguan, earlier this morning. Where would she park this vehicle?
In the garage.
How would she park in the garage?
Um.
Would she pull in with the front first, or would she back?
Varies.
The garage has got a lot of woodworking equipment in it and not a lot of room to park in there.
Yes.
Do you know how she parked in that garage the night of January 27th, 2020?
I think she pulled in
Pull in, what is that?
didn't back end. She pulled straight in.
So the front of the car is going in first?
Mhm. Yes.
And so do you know how it was parked on the morning of January 28th, 2020, before she left to go get Albert in there?
No.
You see it that morning.
I don't know.
You don't remember or you don't know?
I don't remember.
But you knew your mom was going to go get him that morning.
Yes.
So as she's gone, does she text you with regards to your vehicle, the white Jetta?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, let's scroll down and see if that helps refresh. We can go down one more, please. So at January 28th at 8:44 a.m., she says, once shoes are at the front door. Do you take that to mean what shoes are at the front door?
Yes.
And did you respond? What was it? Did you know what that was about? Why is she asking you about shoes at the front door?
There were ring videos that people were posting. So we were trying to think like what shoes was he last wearing?
Okay.
And
then
if I took a picture, then she would know based upon what's at the door.
okay. So we scroll down. Are those pictures? Is that a picture of shoes at the front door
Yes.
that you sent her?
Yes.
And then if we keep scrolling down, there's a screenshot.
Yes.
Is that that's another screenshot from the neighborhood? People posting things on the Facebook page and things like that?
Yeah. And people, I think one of her friends were texting me and she saw this video as well and she sent it to me.
And then if we can scroll down at 8:48 a.m., she asked you if you're working. Were you scheduled to work that day?
I believe so. I remember calling off one of the days.
Right.
I don't remember which day.
And then you respond no at 8:48 a.m. Remember that?
Yes.
And then this next message, see, this refreshes your memory. Does she, we can scroll down. Does she ask you to pull your car in the garage?
Yes.
What was that about? Do you know why she's asking you to pull your car in the garage?
No. In the next message, she just said there was like a lot of people coming. So
Did you take that to think that no, she didn't want anybody to see your car out in the driveway, perhaps?
that or like, so there was space in the driveway for people to park.
Okay. But where was your car parked when you had to pull it into the garage? Do you remember?
I would normally park on like the side of the street or in the driveway sometimes.
Did you pull your car into the garage when she asked you to do that?
I think so, yes.
And do you remember backing in or did you drive forward in?
I don't remember.
It's on video. Would the video reflect that?
Yes.
All right. And did you text your mom saying that your car is filled in? If we can scroll down to January 28th at 8:54 a.m.
Yes.
You see that?
Yes.
And then she responds, Albert said to tell Lena to work on her clothes. Did you know what that was about?
I think I was just like cleaning up her room.
We can scroll down. We can keep going, please. So your mom tells you exactly what you just said. Clean the room before everyone gets there, right?
Yes.
What was your understanding of who was coming to the house?
I know Albert was coming home. There was different like army people that were coming. I know some like family flew in, so
People were coming out to look for Gannon, right?
yes.
Do you remember when your mom and Albert came back from the airport?
Yes.
Were they driving the black Tiguan?
I don't remember what car they were driving.
Do you remember your mom renting a car?
Yes.
Remember what color the car was?
No.
Remember what brand the car was?
No.
Did you think that was unusual that your mom left in the black Tiguan and came back in a rental car?
I was told that they were going to be driving searching for him, so she didn't want to put miles on her car. And Albert's truck like takes a lot of gas.
Who told you that?
My mom.
So did you ask her about it or did she just volunteer that to you?
I don't remember.
Were people from the media trying to contact you on January 28th in the morning hours?
I don't know if they contacted me. I did remember like news reporters coming.
Do you remember telling your mother that the news reporters, or particularly KKTV, is contacting us?
Mhm.
Do you remember telling your mom that on the morning of January 28th?
Yes, I think like she is my Facebook, so I think that's how they message me on Facebook.
During this time frame, are you also having FaceTime conversations and phone conversations with your mom as well as text messaging?
I don't know. I don't think so.
If you were, would that be reflected in the cell phone records?
Yes.
You talked about soldiers or Albert's coworkers coming in to help look for Gannon.
Yes.
Did they actually come by in a silver SUV?
Yes, I remember people from his unit came.
And did you talk to them? Did you let them in the house? What happened with that?
Yeah, I think I talked to them.
Were you also texting other friends and people that you knew in the neighborhood about whether or not they'd seen Gannon during this time frame?
Yes.
Let's kind of jump to the afternoon of the 28th. Do you know whether or not Albert and your mom were actually talking to detectives with the sheriff's office during this time frame?
Yes, that's what I was told.
They told you that?
I don't remember. I just remember it being mentioned.
Do you remember a time in that afternoon where your mom kind of disappeared? You didn't know where she was at, that type of thing?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that. What was going on and what vehicle was she driving? You remember?
I remember Albert was home and he kept calling her. And that's when the news reporter came in and filmed a video in her house. And something about they were asking her for like a hairbrush or toothbrush. That's why she couldn't answer or something. I don't know.
If we can scroll down, I know we're going to be jumping a lot, but down to 4:26 p.m. on January 28th. Are you there, Ms. Hunt, in the notebook, or we can look at the screen if you're not?
Yes.
So at 4:26 p.m. on the 28th, you're texting her, "Where did you go?" You remember that?
Yes.
How did she respond? If you can scroll down. You see that where it says, "I will text you in 10 minutes"?
Yes.
Do you know where she was at when she's texting you at this time?
No.
Do you know if she's in the rental car or what vehicle she's in as she's gone during this time frame?
I do not know.
And then you respond with looks like a question mark. Or you said, I'm sorry.
Yes.
What did you mean by that?
Because I was confused when she said, I'll text you in 10 minutes.
And then if we scroll down, you ask, where's Lena?
Yes.
Did you know where Lena was at?
Yes. I said, never mind, she's here.
Okay. And she responds, if we keep scrolling, she was on her bed at 4:29 p.m.
Yes.
And if we scroll down more, she says, don't open for anyone.
Yes.
What's going on here? Why is she telling you not to open the door for anyone? Do you know?
I do not know. I just feel like there was like a bunch of like stories or like reasons why. It's never like clear why I couldn't open the door.
At this point in time, on January 28th at 4:30 p.m., had you heard of different versions of events of what happened to Gannon at this point?
Yes.
What version of events did you hear? Let me ask you, did you hear this from your mother?
Yes.
What did she tell you happened to Gannon at this time?
I had heard first that he was at a friend's house and then he was missing and then that he must have been with his friend's older brother. And then that's when she kept saying to me, like, after all that, she was just like, they're trying to frame me and people were thinking it's me.
Who is she referring to? Did she tell you when they say they are trying to frame me?
People in the groups. Remember her mentioning like the detectives were being weird, asking weird questions to her.
At this point in time, did you ever say, Mom, they just want to find Gannon. We're trying to find Gannon.
Right?
Did you ever say that to her?
Yes.
How did she respond to that?
I don't remember.
Did you have problems with confronting your mom on some of this information?
Yes.
Like why you have a rental car, where's your car, that kind of thing?
Yes.
At this time period, are you just going along with what your mom's telling you?
Yes.
You can go ahead and scroll down some more, please. You say at 4:30, if we can go down one more, where are you going? And she responds, I said I would text you in in 10 minutes.
Yes.
Would your mom usually tell you where she's at, what she's doing under normal circumstances?
Yes. We had Life 360, so I could always look on there too.
Did you do that?
It wasn't on
How do you know it was not?
because it'll say like nothing found, or it'll tell you.
So while you're asking where you're going and things like that, you're looking at her Life 360 app to see where she's at?
Yes.
And it was shut down for whatever reason?
Yes.
Had that ever happened?
No.
You always been able to find your mom and vice versa? Does she find you, I take it?
Yes.
Based on this Life 360?
Yes.
Okay, we can go ahead and scroll down some more, please. Now you have the question mark symbol at 4:31 p.m. And she responds, something isn't right. I think they are hiding something.
Yes.
What was that all about? Do you know what she's talking about here?
She said that they were asking for like toothbrushes and like hairbrushes and stuff. So why would they need like DNA?
And you know that because lower in the text message, that's what she says, right?
Yes.
And did you help Albert get the toothbrush and things like that for the police?
I don't remember.
If we can go ahead and scroll down to January 28th at 4:33 p.m. You say, what do you think they're hiding? And did she respond to that text?
No.
And then if we scroll down, you have another question mark.
Yes.
And then at 4:50 p.m., you tell her, Albert said you need to go where he is at.
Yes.
Remember that? What was that all about? Do you remember?
I'm pretty sure they were both at like the police station.
Do you know whether your mom was at the police station or not?
I don't know for sure, but she said that she was.
Do you know that Albert was at the police station?
Yes.
When did she tell you she was at the police station?
I think when she got home.
And this was again on January 28th, 2020?
Yes.
And if we scroll down, you say, it's been 10 minutes. What is that in reference to?
Because she said that she would text me in 10 minutes.
And her response is, can you scroll down? Huh?
Yes.
Okay, H-U-H. And below that, if we scroll down, you say, IDK, is that for what?
I don't know.
EFT me and said you need to go there.
FT is FaceTime.
Okay. So did you have a conversation with Albert then at this time period?
Yes.
Was it clear to you that Albert was at the police station and your mom wasn't?
Yes.
Was it clear to you that they wanted your mom to go to the police station?
Yes.
And then if we scroll down, you do another question mark here at 5 p.m. Do you remember that?
Yes.
At 5:04 p.m., if we scroll down, your mother says, okay, I called them.
Yes.
And then she goes on to say, I'm talking to him to go. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you know whether or not your mom actually talked to him or ever went to the police station on January 28, 2020?
I do not know.
If we can scroll down to January 28th at 5:22:53. You see that where your mom says Albert?
Yes.
And you say to go where? What are you referring to there?
Because in the previous message, she said, I'm talking to him to go. And it was never clear what she meant.
Okay. And then if we scroll down, your mother says, they said I have to go back to the place. Do you know what she's talking about there?
No.
Do you know where your mother's at 5:24 p.m. on January 28th, 2020?
No.
And if we continue to scroll down, your mother says they are treating us crappy. Remember that?
Yes.
And you, if we go to the left, say, not sure what that means. It says emphasized in quotes, they are treating us crappy. Is that something you're typing out or what did you do?
No, it's like you can hold down the message and choose like a simple.
So it's like a thumbs up thing?
Yeah.
Heart?
Yeah.
Those are the only ones I know. So you respond to her message somehow emphasizing they are treating us crappy.
Yes.
Were you being treated crappy?
No.
Were you under the impression at this time that your mom was being treated unfairly by the police?
Yes.
Is that what your mom wanted you to think?
Yes.
We can scroll down to January 28th at 5:27. Your mom's asking you, who is there with you? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And at this time, it's just you and Lena in the house. Is that how you respond?
Yes.
And if we scroll down, keep going, please. There we go. Back up. I'm sorry. She says, who was at the ring? And then she says earlier. Do you know what that message was about?
No. And I said nobody was at the ring.
Did your mom have access to your doorbell camera on her phone?
Yes.
So you say nobody's at the ring. And then if we go down to January 28th at 5:28 p.m., your mom is now saying, what did Albert say to you?
Yes.
You know what that's in context of?
I guess when he called me.
Is it the FaceTime that we saw earlier that you talked about?
Yes.
And did you tell her what Albert had said to you?
Yes.
And we can scroll down, please. To tell you to come there, right?
Yes.
And then your mom responds, I told him this is nonsense to come there again.
Yes.
And now you're texting her at 5:45 p.m. that someone is here with pizza. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Why are you texting her about that?
Because he told me not to open the door.
And then she responds, it's pizza. And you say, do I open?
Yes.
Why did you have to ask your mom for permission to open the door to get some pizza?
Because she had told me originally to, and she would have watched the camera. I don't want to be in trouble.
Would there be consequences for you if you didn't follow what your mom's telling you to do?
Yes.
Yeah, let me know when I can go right up to noon or.
It's up to you. I was going to ask you to find a breaking point in the next 5 minutes or so.
Why don't we scroll down to January 28th at 6:12 p.m. and 55 seconds. Right there. Your mom says, what's going on there? You remember that?
Yes.
And if we scroll down, you say Albert's came and left. Well's back now.
Yes.
So what was going on with Albert? Was he coming and going from the house during this time frame?
Yeah. Just like the police station or wherever he needed to go.
At this point, is your car still in the garage? You know.
Yes.
And is Albert driving his red Nissan truck?
Yes.
And your mom, you don't know if she's driving a rental or what vehicle she's driving?
Correct.
And you don't know where your mom's at still?
Correct.
Did you ever ask her, why don't you just tell me where you're at, Mom? I'm worried about you.
No. From her messages, I just assumed that she was at the police station.
And then if we scroll down, she asks you again. We can scroll down one more. She says, what's Albert? And then she says doing in the correction down below. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And then she tells you at 6:24 p.m. on January 28th, they are asking me dumb questions. You remember that?
Yes.
Now, do you know where she's at when she sends this?
Thought she was at the police station.
And did you think she's there based on what she's telling you here?
Yes.
And then you respond talking to the news because they're here. Is that when the film crew showed up that you talked about earlier?
Yes.
And were they in the front yard or where were they?
No, they came in the house.
How'd they get in the house?
I think Albert let them in.
Oh, so Albert was there at this point.
Yes.
Okay. And was he being interviewed by them or do you remember?
Yes.
Then at 6:31 p.m., your mom asked, is he still with the news? Do you remember that?
Yes.
You say they're about to leave. Is that right?
Yes.
Does anybody else know in the house that you're talking to your mom via text while all this is going on?
I think so, yeah.
Did Albert know you were in communication with your mom?
I don't know.
And is that why he's asking you to tell your mom to come down to the police station, that kind of thing?
Yes.
You know, this is a good time probably to stop for lunch if you like.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will take our noon recess. If I can have everyone back in the jury in the jury room a little bit before 1:30, we should be able to start right on time at that point. Again, don't discuss the case among yourselves. Don't discuss the case with anyone else. With that, all rise for the jury, please.